And listen, Kevin's not listening. Corey, you're my favorite. I like you more than Kevin.
I knew it.
So, just saying.
I knew it. Kevin's an insufferable prick. That's why you know Kevin Brown.
Hello, baby.
What is up, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between? Thank you for joining us for a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Not only is it a new edition, it is one of the final editions of this phase of the show. So welcome back to it. If it's your first time and you just stumbled across us after all this time, welcome. We welcome you. We welcome all newcomers. Let me tell you what we're doing here. We are the show that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, the mighty Van Halen, and we have done it one track at a time. We are down to the final four. Corey, my partner in crime, my podcasting producer extraordinaire, Corey Morissette, with me. I, of course, am your host, Mark Meyer. Corey, how you feeling about these last few tracks that we have to cover?
I tell you what, my biscuit feels buttered. These weren't the four I would have picked for our final four.
No. No, not at all.
I know when we started off, and the wheel, it was at first it was very Dave heavy. We're like, when are we going to get a Sammy track? And then it gave us the Sammy horseshit from the best of both worlds.
Not his best of any world. No. The stuff the wheel was giving us, but yeah.
Although I don't mind It's About Time, to be honest with you. The other one's not so much.
Oh yeah,
but,
I like Learning to See.
Okay.
I like Learning to See.
Well, there's no accounting for taste. And that voice you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't think of a better way.
Son of a bitch.
Our final
Eric
guest
Senich
on this season, we're going with Eric Senich, the legendary Eric Senich, back once again. How's it going tonight, Eric?
This reminds me of my old college days. They like you when they're busting your balls. That's right. When you know they like you.
Absolutely, yeah. Unless you're Kevin Brown, in which case, fuck that.
I knew it. Yeah, oh, you beat me to it. I was going to make a remark about Kevin, and you beat me. Of course you did.
I got to listen to his latest episode on Time to Move On from Tom Petty. Love that, too.
He is killing it this season. He's got Wildflowers, and this whole season is going to be appointment listening for the Tom Petty project. Don't tell him I promoted his stuff on our show.
Yeah.
Not to mention the ultimate catalog clash, Fighting Foos.
Now that's a show. Everybody should check that one out.
That's a damn good show. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Look at that free plug for you, Corey.
I got to tell you, Mark, though, I need an intervention. I'm thinking about starting another podcast.
Oh,
so you got to stop me. I kind of want to take the ultimate catalog clash format and put it towards movies. And start ranking some movies.
Oh,
wait, say it again. Do what with movies? Say it again. What's going to be?
Yeah, what we do on the Ultimate Catalog Clash, Eric, because I know you're too busy to listen. Although I'm sure you would.
No, I know the one you do with the movies.
Well, what I'm thinking of, because right now we're rating songs on music, lyrics, and production on a 10, 10, and 5 scale. And then at the end of it all, we get a final album grade out of 100. I thought, let's do that with movies. You could have acting worth 10. You could have writing. You could have production design. You could have directing.
Start off with all Kevin Spacey movies. I think.
I see what you're. Oh God, damn.
Kevin Spacey. This took a turn.
Yeah, but I see what you're doing, Corey. I see. Corey's trying to lure me in just a little because he knows I'm gonna go. I'm trying to take the bait. But look, hey. He's not getting rid of me that easily because although, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we're in the final four of Van Halen's catalog, that does not mean that the show is ending. No, siree, we still have quite a bit to go on. You got to join the Patreon though if you want to be in the know and understand what's going on and be part of the process. But Corey and I, we've got some more stuff coming along the way, so don't you worry. But here he goes once again. His takeover of the podcasting universe took a few stumbles, but he's regrouping. He's rebuilding his celestial suit and becoming the world devourer that he wants to be. And he wants me to be his herald. I see. He wants me to be his silver surfer.
Now hold on. Maybe I'm trying to entice Eric Senich.
Maybe you are.
Maybe we want to do Hooked on Polka. And we just talked about polka books.
Oh, gee.
The Walter Ostanek story, the Frankie Yankovic story. I mean, come on.
if I had the time, but I'm launching a new website, the Men Without Hats newsdesk.com.
Oh, finally.
So, yes.
You see,
yes.
you saw a void in pop culture and you filled it.
Yeah, an entire page on doing the safety dance.
You could dance if you want
just
to. You could,
diving deep.
That's the Canadian national anthem, is safety dance.
I had a friend just last weekend had this idea for a podcast, and he asked if I wanted to be part of it, and basically he wanted me to do all the heavy lifting, all the producing.
Of course.
I'm like, nah, dude, I just don't have any time left.
That's what Mark does too. He's like, I'll do a Van Halen podcast if you do all the work. I just want to show up and look good.
Yeah. That is not accurately how that conversation went down, but it's fair. But it's still not an unfair assessment. So
yeah, because it is a lot of work, man. All that stuff, producing it and editing it and setting up scheduling stuff. And
I never fail to tell people that the true mastermind behind And the Podcast Will Rock and producer extraordinaire is in fact Corey Morissette. Right. I have always said it. I will continue to say it. It is definitely his world. I am just, or it's his world to devour. I am simply just the herald to lure you in so he can take over just one at a time.
And I almost blew it this week. I almost blew it because I sent Eric the wrong time. I said,
7 p.m. Eastern.
We'll see at 7 Eastern, which would have been 2.5 hours ago.
That's been 6 o'clock over here. I was like, I'm not doing that. I got to eat dinner and stuff. Yes. Come on. But since we have the man himself on the show, then I guess what better way to begin the show, as we always do when we dive into some Van Halen news, and we get it directly from the Van Halen News Desk. The man himself running it is with it. So I ask you this, Eric, what's the dealio? What's going on in the Van Halen world?
Where'd you guys leave off? Like, when was the last? I could go back a ways.
The last one we did, I think, was the Sammy Hagar biography.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Sammy bio. So obviously Al's birthday was on May 8th. So belated happy birthday to Big Al. And Greg Bissonette. Actually, Jeff Goebel is one of our new contributing writers. And it's so great to have Jeff on because he's got a great YouTube channel, Final Residence TV. He had Greg Bissonette on to talk about his days working with Dave, and because he was on Dave's, he was on Eat 'Em and Smile, Skyscraper, and A Little Ain't Enough, but he's also on Satriani's Extremist, so some great stories there. Okay. And Jeff is a musician, so it's great to have balance things out on the news desk because I'm a huge Van Halen fan, a non-musician fan, and he knows his shit. He's a guitarist, really good guitar. So check that. That's up on the desk. And then Michael Anthony, he had some comments about what could have been, but never happened. And he's referring to the Rock Hall in 2007 when that was their chance to have like a really big moment. That would have been it was just him and Sammy who showed up at the award ceremony. And he's kind of bummed because that could have been a really big deal. That would have everybody there, and that would have just blown everybody away. And then of course the tribute, which didn't happen. He didn't come out and say it's because of Dave, but he was just like, I think everybody can put 2 and 2 together, and that's why that didn't happen. That was the one with Satch and Dave and Al and possibly Jason Newsted. But then around that time, Mikey got a call from Dave and Al, but it never happened. So he's just kind of bummed about that. He was on a podcast. Actually, that whole episode it's a fun listen. He was on Hook Rocks, which is a really good podcast. Mm-hmm. And the book coming out, Van Halen at 50, that's coming out in a couple weeks at the end of May or May 28th. And this is an amazing book that's put together by our friend Steve Roth at Motor Books. They put together a series, a lot of these books that commemorate anniversaries. He just hooked me up with one on Prince's Purple Rain at 40. These books are, have you guys seen these books, how they're put together? I mean, it's like hardcover, slipcase, the photos are amazing. It's beautiful. So this commemorates the 50th anniversary of Van Halen. Martin Popoff's the author. I did talk to Martin last weekend, so I will put that interview up on the VHND in a couple weeks. But you can pre-order the book now if you want at the Van Halen store. And there's an article on VHND. And then the last thing was Wolfie. Did you see he pulled a fast one on the crowd with with the Foo Fighters and Dave Grohl. And Dave Grohl was like, I never get to play a solo. You guys want to hear me play a solo? So then he starts playing, or you think he's playing Eruption, but there's Wolf.
Mark, did you see this? Because I have it queued up here for you.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, this is great.
I had to see it.
You want to watch it anyway? I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, this is fun.
I'm gonna do a fucking solo. How about that? You want me to fucking continue? You have no idea. I play dumb. You might think like, that guy can't do a fucking solo. You want to see me do a fucking guitar solo right now? You want to see me do a guitar solo right now? All right, ready, motherfuckers? Here we go.
Oh, he's pretty good. Look at that. Look at that, one-handed. Look at that, no-handed. That was fantastic.
That's cool. And he busts into Hot for Teach a little bit there, I think, too. So that was at Daytona Beach last weekend, and Mammoth played that festival, so he was just hanging out side stage. That's it, man. That is it.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you get like Wolfie up there and just like let's have some fun with the crowd? And Wolfie has played, as we all know, he's played with Foo Fighters before on that Taylor Hawkins tribute show. So I mean, they're all buds. So yeah, that's part of the fun of being like touring musicians. You get to hang out with these guys and occasionally jam. It's funny going back to what Eric was saying about the we were talking about that show or that lineup that didn't happen, that was supposedly going to happen with Newstead and Dave and everything like that. And I want to say at some point in the show when we talked about that happening, I went, I'll believe it when I see it. And now we can confirm it's just like, it ain't gonna happen. It's like, no. So I never believed it fully. I was like, no, that sounds like it's gonna crumble. And sure enough, here we are. So,
however, Eric Senich kind of jumped to conclusions. He kind of thought Mikey was referring to David Lee Roth as being the party that didn't want to do it. It could have been somebody else.
Could have been.
He's
He's basically,
pretty amenable
read
to
the article. You read between the lines, but I mean, it could have been, but I think it was. I think
it's for the best.
Yeah. By the way, did you guys get to see the behind the music on Wolfie? Yeah,
not
I
yet.
haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for everything to drop because I need to get the free week of Paramount Plus, so I want to kind of binge watch everything. So,
dude, you'll get emotional watching it. Not trying to be funny, but he talks about the last days, like the last weeks, the last days of Eddie.
Oh boy. And
wow, man. And even Wolfie says it in the episode. He's like, this is the most I've talked about it. And he has Eddie's ashes he's got a heart necklace and he's got the ashes inside there. Never mentioned that before. Mm-hmm. And then he said he's got a ring that's made out of his ashes. I think it's got his thumbprint, Eddie's thumbprint. I mean,
oh wow.
Just, heart-wrenching, man. Yeah,
I knew that that one was probably gonna tug on the heartstrings, so I have to, prepare myself before watching that.
Yes, I would.
I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta, before. So, but yeah, that'll be on the list for sure. And when it all drops, Corey will get to watch it and just binge the hell out of all of those episodes.
Ball my eyes out, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Because they'll have that. I'm sure they're doing like a Chumbawamba behind the music that's going to make me cry. Bananarama. Tumultuous History. Men Without Hats.
Men Without Hats is going to be in there.
Yeah. But I would actually really be fascinated by watching a Chumbawamba behind the music. I'm not going to lie to you. Because there is so much that I just don't know about that band,
like
and
everything.
As soon as they were there, as mysteriously as they entered our lives, they were gone. And there's I just would love to know what a tub thumper is exactly. What is it to them? Like, what does this song mean? I know what the lyrics are, but I still don't understand what tub thumping is. Explain that to me.
It's like it is an English term. You got to admit that is a great song.
I mean,
And
dude, it is
get
actually
knocked down, but I get
it's
up
one
again.
of the I think the silliest songs ever written. But by God, did we all jam it? And I would be lying to you if I said I didn't buy that album specifically for that song.
Yeah, my friend did. Yeah.
Because I
The
absolutely
green cover, right? It's got the green cover.
green
It looks
cover with that weird kid and the big mouth, and it was like
An alien
what is
face.
it?
There you have it,
I'm actually
folks.
kind of
Look
My
for it in
friend Chuck bought the
2025.
cassette.
I get knocked down, but I podcast again. Chumbawamba retrospective with Mark Kamier
regarding Chumbawamba.
regarding
By the way,
Chumbawamba.
I kind of feel like Corey and Kevin are like Sammy and Dave. I mean, they're like really competing.
Wow.
Ego
Which one am
clash,
I?
you know?
Which one am I?
Who's the
Yeah,
better
which one?
podcast?
Who is who? There you go. There's a question for you, Eric.
No comment.
He's like, nope. I'm gonna let y'all figure it out. There you go, Kevin.
never liked
whenever
you,
hear this
Senich.
episode, we need, or actually not us, you guys for Ultimate Catalog need merch and shirts, and there you go. One of you can be Sammy, one of you can be Dave. Just like
Yeah, you guys pose against each other like
like a
old
title
school
card.
boxers.
If only I could kick that high, man.
Yes.
Have little dialogue bubbles under each, and whoever's
Yeah.
Dave just goes zip zop zoobity bop. And and the Sammy, I put cream in your coffee. There you go.
I'm gonna butter your biscuit.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm a biscuit. Whoa. Be on the lookout of that.
That took a turn. Is this still a Van Halen podcast? I don't know what the hell we're talking about anymore.
So yeah, I'm trying to guess what are the 4 songs that haven't been picked. Oh,
We
where's
got-
the wheel?
You see it on your second screen here?
Wait a minute. Oh, hold on.
I
gotta.
see it.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, 4.
We got Amsterdam, Aftershock, Atomic Punk, and The Trouble with Never.
Holy shit! 2 from Balance.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
3 songs that start with A. It's just
Yeah.
a weird final wheel.
Yeah, and man, I love Aftershock. Hope maybe the odds are good. The odds are good. We're gonna get my pick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
if you don't call your shot tonight, Eric, you may never call your shot again. Because
Yeah, how could you not go with Atomic Punk though? Holy shit! What a song.
well, there is a movement in the Discord. They would like Atomic Punk as the last song on the wheel, so that's kind of
Oh
the
really?
final.
Okay.
That would also make
is
Van
true.
Halen 1 the final live show of the Van Halen catalog too. That's the last song left on that
okay.
one. So.
Which would be, in a way, not as poetic as a couple of other songs, but it would be poetic, I think, because we started the show with, a track from Van Halen 1,
Mhm.
and then here we are nearing the end. We still have a track from Van Halen 1, so it could work out. But that is not up to us. That is up to the wheel, unless, circumstances change otherwise. But we're not going to think about that. Here's what we're going to think about. We're going to talk about the last time we covered a track. And I know it may feel like it's been a while, but only because we've been busy ranking albums and things of that nature. We have to talk about the voting of the song that we went over the last time, and that was the ever popular, let's say, the ever popular Josephina from Van Halen 3. Now, this was the final song from Van Halen 3. So, and if you guys have been following the show, you know that has not been our favorite one to discuss because it's just for reasons. And I don't have to list those reasons. Go back and check those episodes out. But we spun Josephina. There it is. It's done, which means that a live ranking episode for Van Halen 3 is on the way.
That's right.
Be looking forward to that. But I'm going to tell you something, Corey. I don't think our audience is going to look forward to that whatsoever because a resounding 54.5% voted Josephina, the dream is over, which means they don't, it's not for them. However, this is not a tremendous percentage. Like it's not it's very close to being 50-50, which I don't know what it either tells me that the song landed better with people than we originally intend, or the trolls are back and they're going to stop. They're going to pull any stops to vote this thing yes when they know.
The ballot.
Yeah. So I think there's fuckery about, but nevertheless, a 54.5 compared to a 45.5. I'm more shocked, Corey, that this got so many upvotes. How about you?
You know what? Not at all. And first of all, I got to say on the Josephina show, I need to apologize. I was cranky. I was in a mood that night. I was maybe a little harsher on Gary in his weird sounding lyrics than I probably should have been. Any inference to anything gross was not intentional. So I apologize to Gary. I apologize to his mom. I apologize to all moms.
Right around Mother's Day.
That's right.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Yep. I was just cranky. However, I didn't mind the song. And actually, if I was voting I'd probably be a 45-55 too. Like I was on the fence. I even made Mark go first when we were recording it because I was just, there's some good stuff in there. Did it just get over the line for me? And it didn't quite make it. So these numbers, I don't normally agree with the audience too much as judging by the Panama vote. But 45-55 to me feels about right. So I thought they were kind of right on the money. Eric, would you have upvoted Josephina?
I'm not a big fan of the song, but as with every track on that album, the best part of it is Eddie.
Oh yeah,
his guitar work is amazing. So not a huge fan of the song.
It's not a great song. It's not a great record. But if you look at it in total, like we've covered 119 songs, Josephina 112th out of 119. It comes in ahead of Once, which I would agree with. Just below Apolitical Blues, What I Want, Learning to See, there's Eric's song. And then Dirty Water Dog, Fire in the Hole, some of the better, I'll put in quotes, tracks from Van Halen 3.
Yeah, I Want, I like.
Yeah.
One I Want's cool. Without You, I've always liked. Fire in the Hole, I like, but it would be even better if it had a bigger, fatter sound.
Yes.
But that's most likely Eddie on drums, and it just, it's so thin sounding.
Yeah.
That had the potential of being a massive kick-ass Van Halen song if it was produced like Balance was.
Yep. Or even like For Unlawful. Like better production. A lot of these songs I think I would be upvoting, like Fire in the Hole, and even something like Dirty Water Dog.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's certainly one of the things that work against this album. Other than the fact that, like, are the songs structured very well? It's like, well, that's up for you to decide. But what hurts them, especially, is the production quality. So it's just kind of a losing battle either way. Well, it's interesting. Eric, he says Josephina not his favorite, not a great track from it, but he can find he's always looking for the positive. He can find some positives in even the negative. And I think our friend Sean McGinnity would agree with you, although he has a lot to say about this. So I'm going to go on over to the polls, look at the results, Sean, and look at the tweets, and strap in, because a lot of people had a lot to say about this.
Okay.
And we're going to read directly from the people that are on our Patreon, because that's how it works, you guys. If you want your tweets, or if you want to join the Discord where the conversations are really happening, and you can type as much as you want, and I'll read it on the show, guaranteed, if you join the Patreon. So go to patreon.com, podcast will rock, join the tier. You're going to want to do that with us going forward anyway. So starting off, old Sean McGinnity from the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast, friend of the show, honorary panelist, he says, the frustrating thing about this damn track is that there are quite a few great things inside there. Like, I wish there was more that, or more this. I feel the worst for Gary on this one. He tried, I think, but it really feels like he was doing the best he could. I was asked to shoehorn specific lyrics and intent into a song when I knew it wouldn't work. But sometimes you do the best with the situation you have at the expense of the song, so salvage someone's feelings. I think Gary had his back against the wall. He wrote stuff, had the song changed on him, and what he started with no longer fit. He sounds unsure in the song, like, what's going on now? I think with Nuno, there's a push and pull, a back and forth when crafting a song. With Ed, it's this is my fucking record, Gary. For someone as talented as Sharon to not use his bag of tricks and told to be a dance monkey for Ed, and for Alex to not be there as the bullshit police, I'm surprised the album happened, to be honest. All that being said, there is some stuff that can be salvaged off of Van Halen 3 if this song had cooked a little longer, and if Gary could have had more say and Alex was around. I think there is enough in here that this song could have been epic. So we have here, it's Sean's trying to be positive, but really he's airing his frustration with the fact that the song could have had potential, but instead it was wasted because of the way it's structured, and whether Gary had kind of had just the a noose around his neck for to do it this way, to do it that way, and probably true, but it is what it is. So I'm feeling it. I feel your frustration, Sean, and thank you very much for your contributions. So
that's the whole record, right? That's all of Van Halen 3. There's so much potential and promise there, and it just doesn't quite get there.
Yeah, really. I mean, even the songs that because most of them I've downvoted, but there are a lot of them that do have like, oh man, it started off so well. Why did it just go to shit? And then, or something like that. So I get it. Yeah.
Do you guys, did you read the quotes from Mike Post? Because that answers a lot of questions.
Yep.
Yeah, that answers a lot of questions.
Yeah, it does.
Basically, it was Ed's project.
Yep.
And it was Eddie's way. He was going to tell Gary what to sing, how to sing it. And Alex, by all accounts, it seems, although Post didn't come out and say it, but he intimated to the fact that Alex isn't playing at all on the album.
Yeah, he wasn't even there.
I don't know. It sounds like him on Without You, but
yeah, certainly doesn't on Josephina though. Once we were playing that, we're like, okay, yeah, that's not Alex Van Halen on the drums.
Right.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, Mike Post just basically said he wasn't hands on. He wasn't going in there saying, no, that's not good. Let's cut that out. Let's rephrase this. Let's do this. Let's change the chorus. None of that. So he was just there to oversee, and Ed wanted to make sure there was somebody there who wasn't like Mike Post said, not an addict, not somebody who drank, did drugs. Mm-hmm. So having said that, I'm glad that Eddie did it. I mean, I just feel like that was something that he had to get out of his system. I'm bummed out that it affected him the way as much as it did from all accounts, is it just really kind of rocked him, because psychologically he's just thinking, okay, so I make an album sober and this happens. So what do I do now?
Right.
Yeah. So, and the next time he did it sober was in 2012 with Wolfie on board. So he proved he could do it. But I think at that time he probably was doubting himself. Like, do I have to get hammered again to do this?
Yeah. That's a struggle I think a lot of musicians go under, and it's or not just musicians, just I mean like a lot of performers in general feel like if I'm not using, then I'm not up to my full potential, right? And it's like I can't deliver the way I still did, and it's like it's a toss up, it's a crossroads. So yeah,
there's something to be said of it. The late '60s, man, LSD. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I mean, do we have Hendrix seeing aliens underwater if he's not on LSD? All those songs, all those great songs he wrote. I mean, all those guys.
Think about all the festivals we have in the world. Like, you think Grateful Dead would have had a tremendous festival career that they had without the influence of psychoactives and things of that nature, or the band Fish. Like, I recently heard Drew Carey go on a rant about how great Fish was at that new sphere thing, whatever. And it's like, what in the hell are you talking about, Drew Carey? But whatever. He was happy. He had such a good time at that show. Yeah. Good on you. Anywho, moving on. Rava Flav. Our friend Rava Flav says, woof. It's like 4 different composers sat in 4 different rooms in 4 different parts of the country and mailed their compositions into a mail room where they all 4 got mashed up until they got a kind of sort of song out of it. The guy who played the solo was pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, like patched together.
I mean, look, I can't say Rava Flav's assessment based on my perspective is incorrect. So I hear you, man. I hear you. Let's see. And I'll just just a quick shout out to our friend False Premise, who's always been I think False Premise has been with us since the beginning, or close
I think
to
so.
it.
I think he started commenting like show 5.
Yeah. So False Premise says this would have been better received as an Eddie Van Halen solo album. Don't write burger on the bag and give me a salad. So look, what do you got against salad? You don't like salads? Salads are good. But nevertheless, so that's all the tweets. I'm going to move on to the Discord. Like I said, if you join the Patreon, you get a link to the Discord. That's where the conversations are actually happening. And so reading off right here, starting with Scott Monroe regarding Van Halen 3's own Scott Monroe. Here we go.
Here we go. Get ready.
And here.
Get your popcorn.
There's a lot. Here we go. Claymation videos on VHS aside, Nope, that's the wrong song. Hang on. Let me there we go. Sorry about that. Actually, no, Scott does not start this one off. Chazmataz starts this one.
Oh, no. Oh, that's bad.
Again, regarding Van Halen 3's own, Chaz Charles, like, he starts us off, and this boy says, Josephina ends here, Scott. What a tragic case of good intent. The acoustic version is even more atrocious, and I'd be stuffing a rig in my ear, let alone a guitar pick, if Ed played that shit on my show. It's a demo with some fucking brilliant, arguably most intricate and avant-garde playing ever. But it's lost to the dustbin of history because Mike Post, quote, just wanted to be there for him, end quote. It's a nice thought, but somebody should have intervened with a sober Ed to help polish this soiled dove of a collection that is Van Halen 3. Can't wait to unpack with others on season 3 of the Regarding podcast to what could have been. I wish this song well. How many say I? Hashtag the dream is over. So while putting it down, still managed to plug his own show where he's going to talk more about this. So you guys look around for Regarding Van Halen 3, a podcast featuring the aforementioned Chaz Charles and Scott Monroe. And Scott Monroe, his little manifesto goes, Josephina certainly has its issues. It's at least 2 minutes too long with an unnecessary outro, a pre-chorus that swings the chorus off track, or swings the song off track, rather, musically and lyrically, and a strange soundscape style solo that doesn't mesh well with the overall vibe. Corey and Mark pointed out all of these faults, and I completely agree with them, but, and it's in all caps, but.
There's always a but with Scott.
There's enough here that I enjoy to make it what dreams are made of. It's a beautiful acoustic-centric departure from most of the other album tracks. Gary sounds great in the verses, and the lyrics there are heartfelt and narratively rich, telling a story about his mother and family members of the past in general, if you want to take it that way. There's also a strong chorus and tasty Eddie Van Halen licks after the soundscape that are more in the sonic strike zone. Sidebar on the lyrics, my dudes. It seems to me the line, would you lay down your defenses, is referring to Josephina not being so guarded, as in not talking about her past or opening up about who she was. At its heart, the song is about speculation and discovery of a family member, searching for understanding about a loved one, probably while looking at an old photo of them, whose past and personality is somewhat shrouded from you. I can't wait to share the reimagining of this song that Kevin Brown and I have produced. Ooh. It's a microcosm of the broader fact that Van Halen 3, that there's good stuff in here, need a proactive producer to help separate the wheat from the chaff. This reimagining of Josephina and the rest of the album will be exclusively shared this summer in the upcoming podcast Regarding Van Halen 3. Nice plug, Scott. You can tell by the juxtaposition comments here between Chaz and I, plus the Virgin Listen Wolfie will experience, that we're going to shine a light on a shadow, and who knows what we'll discover. So Scott keeping it overall positive, letting you guys know if you feel a particular way about Van Halen 3, and if you feel a particular way about how Corey and myself have perceived it, perhaps Regarding Van Halen 3 coming up with the hosts Scott and Chaz and others might change your mind. So tune into that.
Right. The lyrics was directed to me, and I get it. Like I said, I don't know. I was a pissy bitch that week, and
it's fine. I mean, it's like you were listening to it, and then you had a perspective, and then you thought about it, and now you got a different one. It's fine.
And I tried to take it more in the comedic vein as opposed to actual. Vein.
For sure.
Yeah, which is my bad. Speaking of bad, let's go to our comments in the Patreon chat here. And here's a little something because we have two Van Halen experts on the panel with Eric and Mark. Jeff Brewer says, I know Post said all that about Ed wanting to do an album sober, but he's not completely convinced Ed was completely sober in 97, 98.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yeah, there's a Sass Jordan story where she was hanging around with them close to this time because she was actually in the running to be a vocalist for Van Halen around this time, along with Corey Glover and many others. She said she was making beer runs for them because they were supposed to be on the wagon. May have been 96, but yeah, what was he totally clean? That is...
Yeah.
Who's to say, right?
To me, the surprise was that Alex wasn't, because I always just thought he just, once he got sober in '86, he never looked back. But to his credit, Mike Post said within like 6 to 8 weeks' time, he was back on his feet again.
Yeah, he was going through that awful divorce too, right? So there was a lot of things that was wrong with Alex at that time. So
I just love that he made sure he was going to tell Alex outside and not inside, because I just keep getting this, he must have been thinking, like, if Alex gets really pissed off, he's going to bounce me off every fucking wall in the room.
Yeah. If there's a ride symbol over there, he's going to throw it at my head and sever my head off my neck. But.
Yeah, like decapitation with a ride. But moving forward, our friends from Dissect That Film, he says, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I've only listened to the song one other time before this episode, and I can proudly say, without a doubt, I'll never listen to this song again. Other than the Eddie solo that always rocks, this song is a mess. Josephina, will you never meet my eardrums again, please? So he kept it short and sweet. We appreciate it. Thank you, Brett. Yes. Brett from Dissect That Film. I mean, there's not really... I think that's the nicest way he could have put it. I mean, he could have certainly gone off the rails with it, but I appreciate the short and sweet comment. That's awesome. But Kevin Brown, on the other hand, says,
"Oh boy, here we go,
Joseph."
I'm gonna go take a nap.
It's only slightly longer, but it's not that long. Josephina, it's not nearly as bad as people make out. It's a massive outlier in the Van Halen catalog, but so are 2 or 3 other tracks on Van Halen 3. I definitely didn't get creepy vibes from the lyrics. I see where you guys were coming from, and it was funny listening to you riff on that angle, but to me, it's just a sweet song about a kid wondering what their parent was like. At least he didn't pull a Marty McFly and almost bang his mom. I like the push in the chorus with the drop out on Can You Shine a Light. That whole section sounds great. In its current form, it's a dream is over vote from me, but I do think that the Monroe edit, as it were, will get much closer to the line for folks. It transforms the song into a perfectly decent album track for me. It just suffers from the same thing most of the record does: unnecessary bloat. So okay. So that didn't go too far off the rails that I thought it would with Kevin, because sometimes Kevin, he sees eye to eye with how we view these songs, and then sometimes he does not.
For the record, Kevin Brown hates Chumbawamba, so that should tell you something.
Does he really?
He does, yeah.
Wow.
That doesn't shock me at all.
Wow.
Not at all. It doesn't shock me. It's funny. So I'm gonna be contacting him when we do regarding Chumbawamba. That'll be my co-host.
I already asked him. He won't co-host it. I asked him.
Is it? Oh, well, yep. Damn it. All right. We'll try again next time.
Yeah.
Our buddy Chad Pollack says, Josephina, this is mid-pack for me on this album. It's very much in line with the most of Gary's non-extreme work. Not great, not bad. However, it's still what dreams are made of. Whoa, look at that. He's telling you straight up. Not a great song, but he likes it. Or at least he tolerates it. So that's a interesting perspective, Chad, but thank you for that. All right. I'm not sure who. Okay, which one of you is the cut of the jib? I don't know. Which one is that?
You know what? I was wondering that too, because we actually got a new Patreon this past week. Rabbi Evid Bana. If you actual a rabbi, Mazel Tov, welcome. Thank you very much for your support. But it could be them.
I think that's who this is. Guitar rabbi. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Now Corey can feed his children. So thank you.
So what is his name again? Tell me again.
Rabbi Evid Bana.
Evid Bana. Yeah. Okay. Rabbi.
Nice.
All right. Well, the rabbi says they almost dropped Josephine on the album. It was between that and That's Why I Love You, which personally I think is a better song. And yeah, Van Halen recorded that song 3 different ways with 3 different singers. One was on an official release. So do you like Josephina or do you not, Rabbi? I'm not sure, but I guess he's saying the song "That's Why I Love You" was the better song, so they shouldn't have dropped that. They should have dropped Josephina. So I'm going to assume that's your way of saying the dream is over with Josephina.
Well,
you covered that song on the show, right?
Yeah, it actually finished 2 spots below Josephina in the viewer poll. It was 43.3%.
Right.
What Dreams Are Made of, 56.7%. The Dream is Over. So very, very close. I would, just thinking back, I haven't heard that song in a while, but I think we kind of like That's Why I Love You a little bit more than Josephina too. Like Josephina was very close for me, and I think That's Why I Love You was very close for me too.
Yeah, I don't know. That's Why I Love You. I don't know. I mean, the version with Gary is better than the Mitch Malloy one, but it's kind of
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really.
Yeah.
And finally, our last manifesto might be the shortest one we've ever received ever. And that comes from our friend Jeff Brewer, which is kind of shocking because Jeff usually has a lot to say. And what he says is Josephina is an upvote, but it is about as close as it gets for me. Yeah. And that's it. So I'm actually kind of shocked Jeff upvoted this one, but nevertheless, there it is. So that's as I said, you guys, that we had a lot of people talk about this one. So if you want it, your little manifesto, or as it were, you want access to the Discord, join the Patreon. You'll have it there. You'll get involved in the conversation. We got all sorts of stuff going on over there, and you want that link. So head on over to patreon.com. Podcast will rock. Thank you. All right. And now comes the time. Not to spin the wheel, of course, but to get ready to spin the wheel. And how do we do that? All right, grab your drinks, everybody. Take a shot. It's time for manifestations. We still don't have that sound effect. It's
sorry, working on it. I got this one.
I mean, we're in the final four.
That?
So
that was Lars Ulrich yelling "fuck" in the face.
Oh yeah, I've heard you guys.
He's not happy. He's never happy when we have to
stock,
take
man.
The wheel.
I got that one.
I think it's fucking stock. Which part of that is unclear to you?
The fuck do you want from me, man?
All of it. All of it is unclear. Lars, thank you.
It looked like what's his name was gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, James.
No one would have blamed him either. Nobody would have blamed him.
I'm actually shocked. I kept waiting for the because I don't know if you know this, Eric. I only just recently watched Some Kind of Monster, the doc, because I hadn't seen it before. Yeah. But it's on Netflix, so I was like, yeah, we were talking about it. Let me check this out. And I swear I thought at some point James is going to get up from that table and just deck Lars.
Yeah. He should have.
And he didn't do it. He should have, but he didn't. He didn't do it. So good on you, James.
That little Danish twat got in my face, I would have decked him.
I wonder if they get along,
especially nowadays. Like that.
Are they? You wonder what the relationships were like with those guys after all these years. Like Motley Crue. You ever notice like Tommy Lee and Vince are never doing interviews together? At least from
they
what
hate
I've seen.
each other.
They hate each other.
They hate each other. They all hate each other. Yeah.
Right. So it's like only
this
so
is
far
a business I've seen, relationship. Yeah.
Vince and Nikki or Vince and John Five or and Vince just looks so bummed out, like he's just so unhappy. It's like he hasn't been happy since Dr. Feelgood.
Well, he doesn't have a hoagie in his hand, so he's unhappy about
it. Yeah.
I mean, there's that. He sounds like shit. He looks like shit, and so I'd be unhappy too.
Yeah, man. The new song just underwhelms me, man.
It's
I was hope. It's
like,
all I don't even think. I don't even think Vince is singing it, right?
No.
Yeah.
I still haven't listened to it. I don't even want to play. I don't even care.
Yeah, and I love the Crew,
and then
man,
everyone was just like, it sounds so bad.
And Bob Rock produced it.
Yeah.
It's like supposed to be like the magic. And John Five's like such a great guitarist, but it's like it's just kind of like it's an album track. It's not even, it's like that's what you're leading with. I don't think they have a full album. I think they're just going to drop like maybe I don't know 4 songs or whatever. But
they're not
probably
doing an
songs.
album.
But
they said,
do yourself a favor. Don't listen to the new Motley Crue. Listen to the new Judas Priest because that shit.
I hear
that's good.
I hear, yeah.
It makes no sense that they are rocking as hard as they are right now, and it makes no sense that Rob Halford is singing the way he does at almost 80 years old. Like I can't fathom it. It's crazy. But you know what I can fathom? I can fathom whatever the hell Eric Senich is going to manifest on the show. So you're looking at the wheel, man. You only got 4 to choose from. So let me ask, where are you going to go?
I mean, it's between Aftershock and Atomic Punk, and I have to go with Atomic Punk. I mean, that's first album classic, and that's just such a badass song and among my favorite Dave lyrics. So Atomic Punk, that's mine.
Atomic Punk. He's going to. He wants us to not have a poetic ending. He wants us to just go ahead and discuss it because he's here. He's our final guest on the show. Here he is. So yeah, he wants to make this one count. I get it. But you're gonna make a lot. You're good at shooting your shot, Eric. That's you are
the first one to ever do it.
The first one to do it. So the odds are very much in your favor, and you're gonna make a lot of our audience upset. So Corey, are you going to join in the manifestation powers of Eric Senich, or are you going to go against him?
I am going to go against him because I really like the idea of Atomic Punk being the last song that we spin and having Van Halen 1 be the last live album that we do, the live ranking show, because, man, that's going to be tough. So I'm sitting here looking at it objectively. We got two balance tracks on the wheel. They both start with A. Really flip a coin. Because Christy's not here, I'm not going to go with Amsterdam because we got to talk about Amsterdam with her. So I'm going to go Aftershock. Let's listen to Aftershock tonight. That's what I'm picking.
Aftershock from Balance. I mean, look, it's easy because we've got two from Balance left, so yeah, it makes sense. I'm gonna go on over to the Discord because guess what, you guys, you join the Discord. There's a manifestation little folder there, and you can throw in your own manifestation and what everyone is waiting for. Let's see. Scott Monroe wants, and he did it in such lovely font that I don't know how you did that. Please tell me your secrets. He wants Amsterdam. Okay. And I don't know if he wants it just because he's saying one to get it out of the way so that we actually do have Atomic Punk by the end, or if he just really wants to hear it. But he cares not that Christie's not present for this one. He's like, whatever, spin it. And I get it. Jeff Brewer says Aftershock. That will leave us with one song from each of the unfinished albums. You are correct. So that's two for Aftershock. I get it. Brett from Dissect the Film says, I want Amsterdam. I want Aftershock to be the second to the last song with Atomic Punk ending it. So that's 2 for Amsterdam. Oh boy. And then we got Josh coming in with Amsterdam. But then a curveball. Our friend Chad says The Trouble with Never. That's the one he wants. He wants to go back to a different kind of truth.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, good on you, Chad, and good on you, everybody else. I, however, am not going to manifest The Trouble with Never. And I am not going to manifest Amsterdam for obvious reasons. Instead, I am going to join in the powers of Aftershock. That's right. I'm doing it. And I'm not doing it because I'm going against Eric per se, but I do. Well, I kind of am. Let's be honest, because I do want. I think it would be just really grand if Atomic Punk ended up being the last one that we cover.
I hear you. Yeah, that'd be a nice way to finish.
But we've got 2 from Balance to choose from, and so it's like flip a coin. But at the same time, we've got the reasons as to why not. So we got 3. What is that? 3 or 4 votes for Aftershock, and there's a few for Amsterdam, and then we got 1 for The Trouble with Never. So now we have 3. How many times should we prime this one, Corey?
Oh, we got 4 watching on YouTube right now, and 3 of us on the call. So let's do 7. How about that? We're going to shuffle this thing 7 times. 1, 2,
Lucky
3,
number 7. Oh, that might be bad.
6 and 7. You boys ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
Here we go.
Amsterdam.
She's not here
again.
Amsterdam.
All right, listen. Can't complain. Cannot complain. This is. I've got good things to say about this song. I know what everybody's going to complain about on this one. I think we're all going to mention the lyrics, I'm sure.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
it's a lyrical masterpiece.
Maybe. Just because it's a Sammy track, I'm sure that people will have something to say about it. I am less familiar. I mean, obviously I've heard it, but I'm less familiar with this one than Aftershock.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot I don't remember about Amsterdam. But like I said, I know Christy loves. I mean, she loves the whole Balance album, but she really loves Amsterdam. Right behind Seventh Seal. It's a just a damn shame that she can't be here to witness this. But I'm sure she will pop up in a live show when she will most certainly be there for Balance live show. So, we got that to look forward to. And then she can say her piece about Amsterdam. But before we get into it, any words of encouragement or anything, Corey, anything about Amsterdam that sticks out to you without you showing your hand?
I am surprised at how much I've really got into Balance from this show. It was always an album I just kind of, it's got the Can't Stop Loving You single on it, and didn't really think too much about it. But doing this show, it's like every song is at least like good, and there's a couple that are just absolute fucking classics. Like, Don't Tell Me is still one of my favorite tracks.
Oh yeah, yep.
Like a lot of good stuff on here. Seven Seal, like you said. Even stuff like Big Fat Money, was I think that was one of the first Sammy tracks we did on this show. And it's like, there's a lot to like here on Big Fat Money. I think Not Enough. I said it had been released, 5 years earlier, would have been the biggest song of the year probably. If you released that in the glam / hair metal era of the late '80s, very early '90s,
sure.
that song would have been absolutely huge. So I love a lot about Balance. It's produced impeccably. I love Bruce Fairbairn. Amsterdam was the third single? Is that right, Eric? Third or fourth?
Amsterdam, I'm guessing the second. No, you're right. Third, because Don't Tell Me was the first, and I think Can't Stop Loving You would have been the second.
Yes.
And then comes
Not Enough was fourth, I believe.
Okay.
Because they played that on Letterman. I remember watching the Letterman clip of them playing it on there.
Yeah. Here it is. Don't Tell Me, January 9. Can't Stop Loving You, March 10. Amsterdam, June 26. In the UK only.
Oh, okay.
I seem to remember it was in the US too. It was.
Wasn't it banned? Like on MTV for being.
The video was banned.
The video
was banned. Yeah. Yeah. And it's on. You can see it on YouTube now. They're walking through the streets of. Of Amsterdam, and it's silly that wasn't. If you think about the shit they were running at the time, like Sammy talked about in concert, you guys are playing like Snoop Dogg videos and Dr. Dre and shit. It was just funny. Yeah, and then Not Enough, July of '95 was the last single.
I found this great quote here from Eddie in an interview with the Guitar World in '96. He said, "Well, I wasn't sober before, and I wasn't even listening to the lyrics. It's not like I suddenly wanted Sammy to be my puppet or anything. But once in a while, I would take issue with a specific lyric or line. For example, I always hated the words Wham Bam Amsterdam from Balance because they were all about smoking pot. They were just stupid. Lyrics should plant some sort of seed for thought or at least be a little more metaphorical."
Yeah.
Bing, bang, boom. Amsterdam. Yeah. Hey, look, okay. I get it. I get that thought, that mentality. But at the same time, there have been goofier shit written about, smoking weed and, things like that. There's literally a song called Because I Got High. And it's literally a guy talking about his mundane life of things that he was gonna do, but didn't. And why? Because he got high.
Yeah.
That's literally in every line of the song. That is a stupid song, but we all love it because it's so stupid and silly. And it's just like, look, give me Amsterdam, any day, every day over that, because at least it's Van Halen. So if you're going to be silly, at least have some good accompaniment with it as well. Maybe I'm alone in that camp. I don't know. But anywho, I think it's time we give
it a
this
spin.
Fatty a roll or a spin, rather.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, before we do, someone in our chat called the shot. Tom Armbruster called his shot.
Oh, Tommy.
Yeah, so he's
right.
Yeah, he's crowing about it. Go get yourself one of them T-shirts that you called your shot. I know Chaz called his shot a week or two ago and expected us to send him a T-shirt. That's not how it works, Chaz.
That's
you
like
buy your
one,
own T-shirt.
Yeah, that's one guess, right? Yeah. Scott called his shot, and then Brett called it. Josh called it. But it's easier to call your shots when there's only 4 songs
There's
left.
4 songs on the wheel. When Eric did it, there was over 100 songs left on the wheel.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
God
Come
damn it.
on.
He's
the master.
leeway there.
Didn't somebody didn't somebody tell you they thought I cheated or something?
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
Probably.
I actually had to post the wheel spin on Twitter because people thought we had, oh, no, that was fucking rigged.
oh yeah, it's rigged. It's rigged. Yeah, I was like, no, it's literally not.
Like we would go through the effort.
This is that important that we're going to rig it. Jeez, like
no. Like we've had a couple of mulligans, and we had, I think, legit reasons as to the mulligans, but no, the wheel is not rigged. It spins and lands where it lands.
We're a couple of idiots talking about Van Halen on a podcast that
why
very few people listen to.
Conspiring to make sure.
Right, yeah.
If we were going to rig it, these wouldn't be the final four songs if we were rigging it.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like these would not be our final choices, okay?
If we have a real shot of finishing with The Trouble with Never, we would not have picked that song.
I still love that when Alex's book, was announced kind of unofficially, we were just waiting to make sure we had everything lined up correctly, and we got everything just so, and because other sources were running it and we weren't, somebody wrote a comment, it was a conspiracy against Alex. and then I just happened to put up an article where there was a photo of just Ed, Dave, and Mike at an airport, heading between shows. And somebody's like, aha, see, Alex isn't in the photo. That, and they haven't run an article on Alex's book. It's like,
Alex has been dead since 1998. I knew it.
He's like, oh, shut up, stupid. It's like, just stop it.
And Corey was on the grassy knoll, too.
That's right. Yeah.
He shot at JFK.
Mark was in the book depository. Scott.
Speaking of grass.
Nice. Good segue.
I love the segue. That's perfect. Scott Haskin bragging that he called his shot with a full wheel. That was on the Patreon takeover show, if I remember correctly. Considering that's Scott's major accomplishment in his life, that's pretty sad. And then Jeff Brewer likes to point out that Eric didn't cheat. It's the producer who cheats. Fuck you. How do I kick somebody out of the chat? Does anyone know how to do that? I'm not...
I'm sure there's a way.
I'm sure there's a way.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm too old and cranky to figure it out. So what do you say? We light him up. This is a little track called Amsterdam.
Do it.
All right, Markimeyer, I get the feeling you've danced with Mary Jane more than I have. Is he referring to a marijuana cigarette? Or is he referring to a lady with ample bum cakes?
Right now, I think he's just describing what he's seeing outside the window, likely at a bakery or a dispensary, things like that. The red and the blue, the shining red and blue. He's looking at, there's some stuff out there, like architecture. A little thick at the bottom, but still looking all right. I'm not quite sure what he's talking about there. That could be a J he's referring to, but like, there's no bottom really there because it's cylindrical, right? So it's like, so I don't think he's talking about that. I think he's just talking about whatever's happening outside the window. It could be a number of things.
A lady of the night.
That's right, because Eric Senich, you vacation in Amsterdam every summer, right? So
I do, and I have a wonderful time. Go there by myself, bring lots of cash, and I come back a happy guy, very relaxed, loose, and
pocket full of money, right?
do a lot of crossword puzzles.
What's great is that in Amsterdam they have one of those jizz and frizz places or whatever. What's that place
Come
that you
and
go
go
to?
The Jizz and Frizz?
Yes,
is that what you call it?
The Jizz and Frizz or the Chat and Splat, whatever it's called.
Oh my God.
The Chat and Splat.
The Chat and Splat.
I'm trying to extend my. We got Chat and Splat, Jizz and Frizz.
The Fack and Pack. We're just making up words at this point.
And they're lined up all along the streets of Amsterdam. And I think it's wonderful.
If that is not a strip club in Amsterdam, the Jizz and Frizz by the end of the week. Yeah, we go to the Jizz and Frizz. That was more of like a I'm not sure what that accent was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
That was like sweet. Like you went Swedish with it.
I kind of went Swedish chef there, didn't I?
Close. I mean, it's the Dutch.
Jizz and frizz.
Yeah, we go to the jizz and freeze.
The jizz and freeze.
I like the chat and splat because that
chat
means you
and splat.
chat a little bit, but then you get,
Yeah, you chat and then just
rocks off.
yeah. Oh shit, she's naked. And you're done. Yeah. Eric needs a woman, ladies and gentlemen. Can we?
This is
Damn.
Out
out of
now.
control.
Jesus.
You're right. It's true.
Our final guest, Mark,
Ladies of the night,
Van
where are
Halen
you?
era. We've asked Eric Senich to come on, and this is what
man.
we've devolved.
They're in
Oh,
Amsterdam.
this is
Eric.
so great. This is so great. Who
right.
comments first on this track?
Oh, we got Jeff Brewer says great lead in to the verse.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Scott Haskin still
Battle.
bragging that he did something in his life, at least. Good for him. Actually, Scott Haskin.
He just wants to be acknowledged.
You know what? He's underselling because he's an accomplished composer and author and
Yeah.
adult bakerer, and that's actually true.
Yeah.
And he's also the sexiest man in podcasting. So
Yeah. Snooty nose up, looking down everybody.
always.
Yeah, I mean that riff and the descending line, like Tom says, that's fucking awesome, man. And Al's drumming, my God,
It's
That's
the
why,
drumming that really stands out to me.
it stands out. And the whole thing about the Wham Bam thing, when I first heard this song, I was so taken by the riff and the drums and the overall sound of it. Who cares? Like I remember just thinking, whatever. And Sammy's vocals are so good on this, so it wasn't the first thing on my mind. Like, huh? Wham Bam, you just ruined the song. It was just like, yeah, whatever.
Who cares? It sounds cool. It's kind of like It's About Time. That song is about very little, but just the whole the way he weaves time in it works for me. And the riff is cool. So
and just the music, the song, which is interesting because it goes back to about 1987 when Eddie first came up with that riff.
Right.
A long time ago. But yeah, it's so good. So good.
Tom Rumbuster says rails where we were going. We don't need rails. That's right. He's listened to the podcast before.
Yeah, cool.
And Scott now pointing out how humble he is because that's what the sexiest man in podcasting does. But he agrees. And Scott Haskin, not the biggest Van Halen fan, but says that is some killer drumming in the intro. So maybe this song will convert him too. Let's find
His
out.
work with the cymbals.
Oh yeah,
so cool.
His cymbal work is like very underrated. That was one thing I think 10 episodes in. I'm like, holy fuck! Listen to what he's doing with the cymbals. Crazy good.
Yeah.
Right, let's keep her going. I am firmly in the Eric Senich camp of I don't even care what the fuck he's singing. Like the music is so great.
And listen to Sammy's voice.
The voice sounds great. How about the harmonies on the yeah? That nice high. Oh, that's fucking great.
You guys, I don't know if you could bring it back to where you just started that clip because there's a part in there that I always thought it's one of the guys. It's either Mikey doing a little bass like, whoop, or it's somebody making that sound. It's a little part. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? If you go back to
I think that's Mikey playing. Actually,
it's his bass. It's like
I think it is.
I
always
it up a
thought
little.
it was
We'll
like
see if we can catch
just
it.
one of the guys having doing something funny, on the mic or something. It's coming up right after this.
Okay.
There it is. Right?
Yeah, this little.
It almost sounds like somebody was just fucking around, but it could be Mike's bass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think it is.
I think it comes up again in the next verse too.
Mark, you're kind of the musician on the panel. Is he just doing like a little, just a quick little slide on the fretboard there? What's he doing?
He's either doing a slide or maybe he's like just like plucking it really quick on a specific note, or but I think yeah, he's just kind of going like a quick little slide, like
I love it.
something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm going to back it up a little more so we can catch that on the way back in here. That one sounded like Sammy going, huh?
Yeah, every time I'm listening to it and I'm driving around, I'm always like, people looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? That's cool.
Love that
double bass.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
Just,
like
anytime
just
you're going to give me
pulling it
just
down.
extra bass hits, just bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, man. It's like he's pulling it down.
Yep.
Love it.
Alex is really the secret weapon of Van Halen. Everyone talks about Eddie. Alex Van Halen is top 5 greatest rock drummers of all time, in my book anyway.
Yeah, like Martin Popoff was telling me, that he's as much as part of the Brown sound as Eddie.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think Eddie said that too.
Yeah. Because Eddie says he's not listening to the bass or the lyrics or rhythm or anything in his monitors. He's listening to Al.
Yeah.
And he's just going off Al, right? This is very much just brothers just playing cool shit. And I was one going into this podcast not giving Alex Van Halen enough credit. And now I definitely
Nor was
do.
I.
Yep.
I had a very different opinion in the beginning of Alex Van Halen, and I'm very glad this show has swayed that opinion.
Very much Team Al.
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
Jeff Brewer in the chat says the guitar during the verse is so good it makes up for the stupid lyrics.
Really? I mean, it's like
I really don't think they're that stupid. I mean, like they're not great, but I don't think they're that stupid, especially considering the topic. It's really not.
The lyrics as a whole are fine. It's the one part Wham Bam that everybody like they focus in on. The rest of it, they're lyrics that you would write about getting high in Amsterdam.
If the Wham Bam part is what everyone has a problem with, like, oh, these lyrics are stupid. Wham Bam, like if that's the one that everyone's just focused on, then I don't know what to tell you.
Do you think it would have been better if he? I was thinking about this, instead of just saying Wham Bam, just insert like light him up. Oh, Amsterdam. I mean, everyone would have just left him alone on that. Something different, but Wham Bam, it sounds like, the Flintstones or something, I guess. I don't know.
well, the second part of the chorus, he sings hot damn. Oh, Amsterdam. Right?
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
He's just trying to find like some quick phrasing that will rhyme with Amsterdam. It sounds to me like Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's fine.
Do you want him to maybe bada bing, bada boom?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been hilarious. Bosey Bop.
It would have been great. Amsterdam. Imagine a DJ on the radio. All right, we got Billy Joel coming up, but first, this is the latest single from Van Halen. This is Bop Bop Zibbity Bop.
Boop Bop Zubida Bamsterdam.
Remember Eddie when he was talking about in '96, when he was talking about the whole MTV thing, and Dave's just up there doing how does Bop Bop, and I'm like, look. Yeah, then
exactly.
Dave's tonight's about me, man, not your fucking hip.
It's one of my favorite interviews of all time, the Eddie and Alex interview, because Bill Hader did a whole thing.
Great. Yeah,
and he says he would imitate the brothers, and he's in like a group chat with these like Fred Armisen from SNL, where they would just talk about whatever, like, oh, there was a hit and run on I-95, and hit and run. And he would do the Alex thing, and then someone do the Eddie thing.
And he's like, tonight's about me, man, not your fucking hip.
Yeah.
Tonight's about me. He's chiming in, and he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's David Lee Roth hip thrusting beside the podium as they're trying to announce an award for Beck. Yeah.
Oh my God!
You can't make this shit up, friends.
What a time that was.
No, you really can't. Yeah.
Scott Monroe says, "How dare Sammy just not repeat the song title for the chorus?"
I mean, it's like, yeah. Exactly. I mean, he at least the title is in the chorus, but he's not repeating it. So, I mean, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You guys know the simplicity, sometimes less is more. But yeah, how dare he? He's like, how dare you add more words instead of the title of the track to the chorus? Boo.
You could just say Amsterdam 4 times like they do in Panama. And then Jeff Brewer says, Wham Bam, Amsterdam is stupid. Hot damn is better.
Look, let's just put it this way. Sammy's work ethic sucked, okay?
That's right.
Yeah. and Eddie's impression of Dave. How about Eddie's impression of Dave? He's like, it's going to go, does the sucked in cheeks.
It's a good impression.
That was such a bizarre time.
Oh, it was amazing.
We're going to do one song. We're going to make a video, and that's it. So you never alluded to him. We never alluded to him being in the band.
Wham Bam, give me more Amsterdam.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
All right, before we get too deep into it, Mark,
here we go.
Is that a ride bell that Alex is playing on the chorus there? Like, it sounds like a really fast ride bell.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not the drumming expert for sure, but it sounds like a ride to me.
Just checking. If Eric says it's a ride, it's a ride. He is the Van Halen.
I'll say it's a ride.
All right.
This solo.
It's something. You want to hear it?
Here we go. Oh.
Let's hear it.
Let's do it. Gentlemen,
I'll tell you this, that first section of the solo, to be sure, where Eddie's, triple picking and doing all that and just laying on this sonic landscape, doesn't really, considering the songs about, smoking weed in Amsterdam, not the direction I would have thought a solo would have been going when you're discussing about getting stoned, because I don't know, I would have expected something much more was slower and more little like atmospheric, if you will, something to kind of like put you in the chill zone,
like Humans Being, how that slows down, something like that.
Or more like what is the other song from Twister that Eddie did solo?
Respect the Wind.
What's it called?
Respect the
Thank
Wind.
you. Respect the Wind. Like something like that. Like I could see, just like, again, in the context of what the song is about, you just be chilling, doing a J, and then this is like a Respect the Wind, something like that. I would have. That's what I would have expected, because you're setting a specific tone, a specific mood. No. Instead, Eddie said, "Hey, this song's already rocking. I'm just gonna keep rocking it, and I'm just gonna tear the roof off the joint, because this is what happened when I'm stoned. I get crazy." It's like, that's but I'll tell you something. It wasn't, for me, that solo was not a one-man effort of Eddie. Respectively, it was fantastic what he's doing, but to me it sounded almost like a Mikey and Eddie sort of duel. They're not a call and response duel per se, but it was just like what Mike's just taking the bass for a walk while Eddie's doing all that stuff, and it's still just the rhythm is just still so tight, and that's just, it's beautiful. I love that.
Man, I cannot say enough about that sound. That was captured on that album, but just that Van Halen sound just fills me up, man. I mean, that shit, whenever there'd be new music that came out from that band, I'd be so happy. As soon as I heard that track, instantly it was like, yes, just like enveloped it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just love that sound. And as much as I love rock and roll and so many other bands, there's just something about that sound is just fucking amazing. Amazing.
Very
It works. They've mastered it. They mastered
by
the
then,
sound, man. And especially by then,
yeah. And Bruce Fairbairn just captures it.
Mm-hmm.
Great producer. He takes a lot of shit from guys like Chris L from Pot of Thunder, but I love every record he ever produced. And Scott Monroe in the chat had to point out, great solo, but this is fuck level drumming tone from Al. Drums sound amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Here's a cool little tidbit. When they were walking through Amsterdam to do the video, apparently, they stopped at Hanky Panky Tattoo Studio, where Sammy had the Bogus Otis tattoo re-inked, and Eddie got his very first tattoo.
Yeah, that's in the video.
Wow. Yep.
Isn't that the Wolfie tattoo he gets there?
It's the Van Halen logo and Wolfgang.
And Wolfie,
over the top of it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I thought Eddie looked cool too, man, with the short hair, the goatee.
Oh, yeah.
He was looking cool, man.
I tell you that if they ever released that balance show they did in Toronto at the Molson Amphitheater, that is such a great fucking concert.
Yes, the Mine All Mine, what they do on that is awesome. It goes, and I think it goes right into the drum solo. But the surfer and the big screen and shit. Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to go see Sammy on the Best of All Worlds tour at that same amphitheater. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Boy, how about that, man? Yeah. So they're putting him in big venues.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's going to sell well.
Oh, Toronto pretty much sold out. I know a buddy of mine tried to get tickets after, and he's in the nosebleeds with me. I picked nosebleeds because that's all I can afford. He picked it because that's all that was left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, I'm doing the whole like StubHub, and I'm just, I don't know. I sometimes if you have patience, you wait till the day of, you can get some good tickets, but a lot of people don't like taking that risk. Yeah.
No, it's kind of a secret. Yeah, you wait because after they move the stage and stuff in, they usually put in at least an extra row on the floor. And you might get some side stage stuff in the bleachers too. So
right. I'm hoping my friend Mike wants to go with me. I'm not sure yet, but I told him.
Well, Kamira might fly down and catch it with you.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm telling you, especially if I get backstage, I won't be able to. I'll be having everybody coming down.
All of a sudden, Kelsey's showing up at your doorstep. She's already met Sammy though. She got to dance with him not that long ago. So.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Yeah. I tell you, that girl's got some stories.
She's got stories to tell.
All right. Let's keep rocking here. We got a couple of minutes left here.
Is there a cowbell in there?
I was hearing ride bell. I wasn't hearing any cowbell.
Okay.
I'll back it up a little bit, and we'll see if you're right here.
It's below and it's down in the mix.
No, that's the ride.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the ride. Oh, actually, he might be. He might be actually doing kind of like going back from the ride to the cowbell.
And, well, of course, Al played a little cowbell.
It's something I never picked up on, but I'm hearing it in mono through here, so I'm picking up on it more.
It could be. He's definitely wearing that ride out for sure, but like I heard what you're hearing, and it very well could be.
Yeah. Well, he was so meticulous with that drum kit, like everything just it's just right. That's what I love. They were so serious about their music.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very Al, look at us talk about Al again. There's a very Al thing he does there. It's like with the bass drum, it's like, just a little nuance, little Alex.
And he always puts up such good stuff in the fade out.
Yeah, that's like at the end of Right Now, right?
Yeah.
When it starts to fade out, all of a sudden,
They are the masters of that. Always leave them wanting more. Give them a little hint at something at the end, like, wait, what was that? Like, no, come back next time. Only they can. So there you have it, Amsterdam, the one of two left on the wheel from the Balance album, and now we are down to the final three, you guys, the final three. What a journey. But before we talk any more about that, let's get our final thoughts on Amsterdam. So I'll throw it to you, Eric. You're our honored guest and honoree panelist as well. You're usually pretty positive on just about everything we spin. I don't know if you've ever been on the show and have downvoted anything.
I don't think I have.
I don't think you have, and that's a testament to just your fandom in the band, and also just your way of going like, well, you may not have liked this song entirely, but they're listening to these things, keeping it optimistic. That's always the best.
I am like that. I always say maybe it's the Gemini in me. I always see all sides of everything. So that's why even like with Van Halen 3, it's like, yeah, it's not the greatest, but I'm glad he did it. It's like what he wanted to do,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is thumbs up all the way. Well,
wait, I have to ask you properly because that's how this show goes.
Yes,
so
I know. I'm jumping the gun. But,
I will let you have your say, but first I ask you, is Amsterdam what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
It's...
Oh, wait, no, you meant this one. There we go.
Who's the engineer? Jesus.
Fire him. He's a bum.
No, this is one of my favorites from Balance. And again, I just never paid much attention to the fact that there's a Wham Bam thing in there. I get it. It's just not a big deal. We're not listening to Van Halen for their lyrics. We're listening to the whole thing. It's the whole thing coming together. And because Sammy's voice is just so awesome, it's look, I don't know. Hey, Wham Bam, I could live with it. It's I would say if I'm ranking the songs on the album, which I think did we?
Not yet. It's coming up.
I didn't send you my list. I would put it up there among the top. It's probably up in the top 3 or 4. Oh no, I remember I did it with the Bogus Otis guys. We ranked the songs, and I believe I have that. I had it up there in like the top 3 or 4 because Aftershock is up there for me. It's Don't Tell Me, I think at 1. 7 Seal at 2, and I think I put this one at 3. I think, and then Amsterdam at 3, and then Aftershock at 4. I think. So yeah, man, it's a great mid '90s era Sammy tune.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, by proxy, I already know that it's what dreams are made of for Christy. And again, we'll have her when we talk about the Balance album and rank it. We'll get her on and she can have her say about it. If she has anything to say about it, she might not. She might just go, I like to jam it when I get stoned. That's all I got for you. I'm like, all right, cool. But we'll see. So then I throw it to you, Corey. Did Amsterdam take you all the way to the clouds, or did it just fall flat for you? And by that I mean, is it what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
I think it would have been better under its original title, which was Chat and Splat. Oh,
Chat and Splat.
Gonna chat and splat.
Yeah, that would have kicked ass.
Load. Yep. Shot my load across the floor.
The Yank and Spank. There's another one. I make them come up with a whole list.
The Twerk and Jerk, you name it.
The Rub and Scrub.
The rub. Yeah, we got names for days, folks, but doesn't change the fact this is a pretty fucking cool tune. Actually, when Eric was ranking his like top 4, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty close to mine. Actually,
yeah,
it's probably going to be identical. We haven't done Aftershock yet. I don't want to tip my hand on that one, but
yeah,
I've always dug Amsterdam. Yeah, the lyrics are dumb, but who gives a shit? If it sounds cool, right? The lyrics are dumb to Jump too. But you know what? I dig Jump. I don't skip that when it comes up. We're not talking about we're not Bernie Taupin lyrics here. Like we're talking about fucking Van Halen.
Yeah,
Is it fun? Can Can you like toke up and rock out to it? Fucking right you can. So Amsterdam, that's a big thumbs up in my book.
It's rock and roll.
Then I feel like this is academic. I'm not even going to go through the spiel, Mark. Just put up your finger so we can play the tune and get out of here.
You'd have felt embarrassed if I had been like, well, actually, no, I wasn't feeling it. No, it's look, they're not going out for a Pulitzer on the lyrics for this one. Okay. Like that's not what this song was about. I don't think they ever intended any of their songs to be lyrical masterpieces. Okay. I don't think Sammy thinks that way. I'll wager both Dave and Sammy probably don't think a lot about most of the lyrics of the songs for Van Halen, because again, and I know we've talked a lot about the lyrics and how, sometimes they don't work and they don't make the song work, and that's kind of a problem. But overall, just as Eric said, you don't really listen to Van Halen for the lyrical content. Not all the time. Sometimes you do. But no, it's for the music and the spectacle of what the band is bringing you all together. And say what you want about the lyrics, but actually, I think, again, based on the context of what this song actually is, I mean, it's all right there. Then I think the lyrics fit perfect. If anything, I think the music probably rocks much harder than the lyrics that are represented. Like this could have easily have been something else. I'm not saying it should have been. I'm just saying like this is just the showing the dynamic side of Van Halen's. Like they can rock you out, and then it can be just a simple song about getting stoned in Amsterdam. And if she can't do it, nothing will. Just like Sammy does, because that's the ultimate truth. It's just fun. It's just a fun rocking tune, and isn't that what we love about Van Halen in general? Is just the fun atmosphere, the fun vibes that they bring. They make rock just really fun to listen to. And again, this isn't the Dave era, and which is what is a lot of people primarily think about the fun Van Halen is Dave's era, but no. Sammy had so much good material in his time, and I think Amsterdam is one of many. If I'm not going to tip my hand too hard, but I am going to say Amsterdam probably ranks pretty high on my list, because this song it rips just musically. Like take the lyrics out of it for a second, just musically the song rips, and that's what I like to listen to when I'm listening to Van Halen. So of course, for all those reasons, to no one's surprise, Amsterdam for me is what dreams are made of. And it would have been so much better if I had a J to toke up while I
nice. But to that, that's the thing. I don't know if a lyric can ever make a song worse. You could come up with a really great lyric that will elevate a song, elevate a hook or a chorus. I think, that can happen. But you got to have a really shitty lyric to kind of to bring a quality of a song down. That's my feeling. Is a good lyric can lift it, but you don't.
It would be hard to do. It would be hard to do.
I knew it.
There it is.
So predictable. I knew it's coming.
He set me up.
But you know,
I know, and I saw it a mile away.
The whole thing with that is it's got like the "Why Can't This Be Love" thing too. So it's kind of like Ed was kind of that wasn't his finest moment either. So
no, so
that's true. That's true.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else is true?
Ooh.
It's time to play. How many times did Van Halen perform Wham Bam Amsterdam? Well, the first time they played it was actually in the Netherlands. The last time they played it was in Honolulu, Hawaii. The question is, how many times did they perform this live? Let's go to Mark Kamier first. How many times, Mark?
Well, shit, if I'm their manager, I'm suggesting, especially on the Balance Tour, I'm suggesting they play it every night and probably continue to play it after that, because like I said, this song rips. I'm gonna venture a guess and say they've probably played this thing 85 times.
85 times. All right, Eric Senich.
5.
Remember,
That's
Price is Right rules.
Good number.
That's right.
That's a good number. I'll go 90.
90.
Yeah.
All right. Well, both good guesses, unfortunately. You both went over. The correct answer is 80 times by Van Halen.
Oh, son.
But
I was thinking.
We're going to play a bonus round, though. How many times has Sammy Hagar performed this in his solo career, either with the Wabos or the Circle or anybody like that? How many times has Sammy Hagar, outside of Van Halen, performed? Outside of Van Halen, yeah.
Well, okay, well then shit. I would like to think he's probably played it more.
5 times?
Okay.
I'm going 5. I mean,
Eric
seriously, I'm just trying to remember any time I've heard him play Amsterdam.
Okay.
5 times?
I almost feel like
I'll be a
it's
little
0. I feel like this is a trick question.
I mean, it very well could be, but
it very well could be.
I'll say 10 times.
10 times. All right, Eric, you gonna go higher or lower?
10. I'm going with 5, so I'll go with lower. Yeah.
All right. Well, Eric Senich. The correct answer is 9 times.
Wow, 9.
5 times with the Wabos, 4 times as a solo artist.
Jesus.
I went 1 over. Damn.
Yeah, and none of them are on any of his live releases. I just don't recall ever even.
That's a shame.
Jeff Brewer in the chat got closest to on the Van Halen. He said 75, which was correct. But then he said another 150 solo, which he was a little off on that one. The correct answer.
Just a little.
Say with me, Mark. 9 times.
9 times.
That's right.
They didn't bring it back in the 04 tour with Sammy, so that helped to keep it like below 100.
Are we going to hear it summer 2024, Eric? Do you think?
I have a feeling. I have a feeling that.
Damn it!
It will.
That's going to make me.
But I think Seventh Seal's going to be in there.
Yeah.
And I think. Let's see. What did Sammy actually put up something on Instagram?
I know, and there was no deep cuts. Like it was all just like what you would expect. I was very disappointed in the set list, actually.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I remember last year, Michael Anthony was saying when they were on the last leg of that tour, he was promising to do something other than Ain't Talking, Running with the Devil, or Unchained, but he's still stuck with it. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm guessing it's going to be this one, Don't Tell Me, and Seven Seal, although Can't Stop Loving You was a hit. So
Scott Monroe points out they did play Seven Seal on the 04 tour. So
yeah.
That'd be pretty cool if they busted it out this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except it wouldn't, because Christy and I will be missing the show in Nashville. So if they end up playing both of those songs that she absolutely adores, like, I don't even know how to begin to tell her. It's like, so bad news. We will not be seeing this show. We'll be in Atlanta.
I think they're doing summer nights. Mm-hmm. I think they'll do summer nights.
5150 probably.
Yeah. I have a feeling Satriani, since the last time we heard him play those songs on Stern and the time we end up seeing him, I think he's going to nail it. And I think he did talk about too. He's got a setup now. He's got some gear that he's using that he wasn't using on Stern. That's going to really like solidify that sound. I mean, that dude's a genius at what he does. So
if I'm Satriani, after that day, and then listening to the internet discourse about like his playing, and it's like, do you guys not realize who that is? Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But it's just like if I'm him, I'm like, all right, fine. You want to talk shit? Like, I'm gonna know this thing forwards, backwards, upside down, in every possible way, and I'm gonna shred your faces just to shut you all up.
He's even on tour right now with Steve Vai, and I bet you he's working on it every night. Yeah, like during sound check, he's probably doing Van Halen tunes just to get.
Well, I think he said that too. Yeah, he was working on Halen tunes, and then he would hear Stevie working on like some obscure Deep Purple song or something, like when they were rehearsing. But yeah, he's. There was an article we did put up where he talks about the gear he's using. I don't know if I could find it here, but it's up on VHND. So.
Yet another reason for people to check out the Van Halen News Desk.
Yeah, there you go. Check it out, Van Halen News Desk.
I have faith in Joe. Have faith in Satch. I love Satriani. So.
We have faith in Eric Senich, and we have faith in the Van Halen News Desk because we've been using you guys as a reference point on our show since the early days, and it's all. We're not doing any of the work there, any of the legwork. That's all you guys. So we're just helping spread the word. But of course, just let it be known, the Van Halen News Desk, all you guys over there, you especially, Eric, just being on the show, giving us shout outs, guarantee because of that, our show reached a lot more ears than it did previously. So big thank you for being
that's
on the
cool.
show all these times. And
thanks,
of course,
guys.
for tonight. Yeah, no, man. It's like it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You are our resident Van Halen expert because, as I mentioned every week, or at least I try to, Corey and I are not Van Halen experts. We're not rock historians. We are just fans talking about a band that we like. And we leave the expertise to people like Eric Senich. So Eric, once again, thank you. Please let the people know where they can find you. We've mentioned the Van Halen News Desk, but go ahead, mention it again and tell them what you got going on.
VHND.com. Mentioned up front the Van Halen at 50 book. Martin Popoff, the author, is going. It's for pre-order now at Van Halen store. It's going on sale on May 28th, so get your copy there. There's an article on VHND.com, but I will be putting up my interview with Martin. That'll go up the same week that the book is released. So that's already in the can, ready to roll. And I mean, that's it, guys. And Booked on Rock, of course. What the hell am I thinking? Booked on Rock is the podcast, which is where the Martin Popoff interview will be originating from, and then I'll put it up on the VHND. But I do have a new episode that just went up tonight as we're recording on Prince's Purple Rain turning 40. So that's up, and that's a really cool interview with Andrea Swenson, who was one of the few people who got a chance to meet and hang with Prince. And he liked her work so much, he invited her over to his place, and yeah, it's just a wild story. So make sure you go to bookedonrock.com, and we're available wherever you can get podcasts, but it's also on YouTube now. So the full episodes are up on YouTube, full video episodes. And that's it. I think that covers it. That covers it, guys. What do you think?
That's hey, it's a lot of credentials, a lot of places to find what Eric's got going on. So be sure.
I mean, I'm no Kevin Brown, but just saying.
Well, I mean, who can be? Who can be? You know, a Kevin Brown. You know, it's like it's an impossible task.
And listen, Kevin's not listening. Corey, you're my favorite. I like you more than Kevin.
I knew it.
Just saying.
I knew it. Kevin's an insufferable prick. That's why you're no Kevin Brown.
Corey's gonna clip that out, and he's just gonna like send it to Kevin on a loop, and amplify. He's gonna add music to it. You're gonna be like auto-tuned. It's gonna be great.
Instead of Michael Anthony kicking off the show, it's gonna be Eric saying, "Corey, you're my favorite." I'm gonna put that at the beginning
for the last couple shows.
That's right.
That's the best.
I love that.
It's a war. Man. It's a war.
It's always the back and forth, but it's all good fun. We all love it, and we also love that we have so many contributing people to this show, that have helped us keep the lights on and keep the motivation, the drive to keep going. And I have to shout all you guys out. I'm talking about our lovely patrons over on our Patreon. So big thank you to Matt Lacoste, Nate from the Deep Purple Pod, Rava Flav, Josh Caldwell, Greg Zito, Michael Griffith, Chaz Charles, Sean McGinnity, Kevin Brown, Per Lineker, Scott Monroe, Ryan Powell, Jeff Brewer, Tom Armbruster, Scott Everett, Heath McCoy, Janice Risco, Brad Gould, Davey Lee Smith, Chad Pollock, Brett Parker from Dissect That Film, Jeff Fisher, Scott Haskin, John Drake, Connor Burton, and the Rabbi, Evid Bana. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We hope you will continue and to take the journey with us, because hey, in the next phase, it's been up to you guys, up to the patrons on what we do and what we spin. We've got not one wheel coming up, we've got so many wheels. So that's just a little taste for what's to come on ATPWR. So stay tuned. And while you're at it, we have all these backlog episodes. As I mentioned, if you're a first timer, you just stumbled across our show somehow right now at the tail end of this phase, go on and check out some of the backlog episodes. Go to podcastwillrock.com. All of the episodes are there at your convenience. We also have links to all of our socials. Please share. Like I said, this phase is ending, but we're not done. So share it. You probably have some Van Halen fans out there that might be interested in podcasting, and this is an easy transition. So share it with them. Tell your friends about it. Let them all know what we got going on. There's also, in addition to the socials, we've got a merch store link to our website. a TeePublic web store with all of our merch on there, designs by the amazing Kevin Brown, as mentioned. So many fun, hilarious inside jokes.
That's one talented dude, man.
He kills it every time. I love it. It's so good. Pick up your apologies to Gary t-shirt, because again, I will not rest until there's just an army of people out there just wearing these shirts, wearing them around town. Eventually he'll take notice if he hasn't already, and he's got to go, what the hell is going on with these shirts? Please tell me. Someone tell me. He's like, well, you got to check out the show, dude. So maybe one day Gary will get in touch, and we'll
wear one of these shirts at a Sammy show, man. Whoever's listening, going to see Sammy.
Yeah, wear it at Sammy. One of either Sammy might notice or Mike you'll notice. Right? Someone go like, "Is that Gary? Like, what's with that? What's with the Gary shirt?" And
any of the shirts, man. Give the podcast a nice plug.
I'm going to wear it at an Extreme show in September. I'll be front row during sound check for Extreme. I'm going to be wearing that shirt. So I'm hoping Gary goes, what the fuck is that?
He's going to slap
things are in motion. If you happen to be some lucky people out there and you're going to see Sammy, Mikey, and everybody on tour this summer, and you happen to get some FaceTime with them, why not? Let them know what we got going on. Like Mikey knows about the show, but he probably doesn't remember. But remind him, be like, hey, there's a show talks about all the Van Halen stuff, and they're talking about you, Sammy, and you, Mikey, and it's a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe they'll get interested. All that to say, your continued support means the world to us. We love it. We appreciate you, and it's just we're just gonna keep on moving forward. But this iteration of the show is nearing its climax. We've got plenty of show left for you, because we do have plenty of live shows we have to do to cover the albums we have finished, but we have 3 left on the main wheel. The final 3 is in motion, so stay tuned for all of that. Corey, why don't you let them know where and what they can, what they can expect if they tune into the Deep Dive Podcasting Network, where they can find us and maybe some like-minded shows.
All right. Well, if you like rock pods, you're in the right place. We got a ton of them for you, including the Ultimate Cadillac Clash, myself and Kevin Brown. That's me hurting my back, carrying his lazy ass for an entire season, talking about the Foo Fighters currently. Kevin Brown also does the Tom Petty Project. He's breaking down Wildflowers this season. That's going to be a big one. And with his buddy, Randy Woods, on Seaside Pod Review. Then we have Scott Haskin at Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast, Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, The Simple Man at Skinner Reconsidered, Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts on the Other Side, Riot Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods, Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z, Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, Ben and Sam at Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast, George and Hattie at the Judas Priest Cast, Clay and Rye at North by South Podcast, Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pot, So What, Quinn at End Volume for All, Sam, Nick, Steve, and Mark at the Rock Roulette Podcast, Chaz and Greg at Regarding Lulu, Chaz and Schatz at Rush Rash, Chaz and Wolfie at Regarding Roger, Chaz and Scott at Regarding Van Halen 3. I believe Wolfie's going to be joining him on that one as well. Then we have the Rewind to 1984 podcast, the Sean Geek and Fast Fred podcast, the DLR cast, the Bogus Otis Show, Booked on Rock with the one and only legendary Eric Senich, You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast, Spinning the Wheel podcast, Dissect That Film, Three's Company 2, a rewatch podcast, the Nerf Herder Council, Talking Into Infinity, that's all about Dream Theater, and of course, Pot of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting. Chris L took part in our last live ranking show, 5150, and by all accounts, he's going to be back next Friday night. That's right, we're going live. We're doing it live next Friday night. We're doing a little album. You may have heard of it. It's called 1984. So we're going to get our special guests like Eric Senich, our patrons, are all going to be sitting in their rankings. We're going to be unveiling the official show rankings for 1984. And then the week after that, we're doing our Revisit podcast, Mark. Our patrons are coming on board. We're each picking a song. I've already announced mine. Mine's Panama, which we're currently listening to. Mark has not landed on his yet, and the patrons are currently voting right now on our Patreon page which track they would like to see revisited. Currently 5150, the track, is leading that poll. So that poll will close near the end of the week. Speaking of polls, we're also trying to pick out what albums are going to be on Season 4 of End the Podcast to Rock. Last week, I announced that the Sammy album was going to be the first Montrose record. That was premature. The poll actually closed today, and the Sammy album that's going on next season's wheel is actually Marching to Mars. So, the Dave album is Eat 'Em and Smile. The Sammy album is Marching to Mars. Next week, we'll be able to announce to you which Wolfie/Gary/Mikey album will be joining him on the wheel. So don't forget, next week, 1984, live, Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern on our YouTube page. The week after that, it's our Patreon show, where we're going to be doing the revisit episode. And then after that, guess what? We're going to be ranking Diver Down. So that's what we got coming up.
So it's gonna be a hot second before we get to these final three, and that's okay. You know, prolonging the inevitable, it means you get more content out of us. You get more Van Halen talk. We gotta rank some songs on some albums. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a really, really good time. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, we're not done yet. We've still got plenty of show left. So stick around, stay tuned for that. On behalf of Eric Senich and Corey and myself, we are And the Podcast Will Rock, and we will rock you later.